Who knew that as soon as Twitch got rid of a bunch of the bots that it would be an absolute disaster? Everybody's pointing fingers at each other like Spider-Man. But I didn't really pay attention to any of it, you know? I didn't react to anything, so, you know, here I am. I'm reacting to it. Top Twitch streamers, botted views, let's go, let's get into it. Quintheo's back again. This time he's not talking about pirate software. Maybe we'll get back to that if pirate software crashes out again. Maybe he's learned his lesson. But he's forever gonna be known as a lol cow. He is, yeah, whatever. That's not this video. Twitch streamers, let's go. Well, he's one of them, I guess.
Over the last couple of days here, Twitch implemented some new changes to how they're able to detect view botting, and it has provably become much more successful at doing so. And that's because we've been able to see that site-wide Twitch's—
And dude, it's gonna get so much worse. They really haven't fixed the, like, half of the botting problem.
Dropped in viewership on average from last week by over 20%, sometimes getting close to 25%. 1 in every 5 viewers being a bot is pretty scary for Twitch. But also there has been quite a lot of—
But we knew it! I knew it was to be true! I knew that, like, a significant percentage of their platform was gonna be bots. That's how it is with all these fake-ass fucking social media platforms are always trying to censor things, but always letting the actual problematic people go free.
Shit flinging that has been going on over the last couple of days between some of the top streamers on the platform, as we've seen across the board viewership dropping even on these huge streamers' live streams. In this video specifically, I went ahead and did research on Twitch Tracker, and I'm going to be showing you guys the viewer drop-offs that some of these huge streamers have gone through over the last—
Good. I want to see it.
Couple of days. I mainly want to see if there's any other potential reasons that these people could be experiencing such huge drop-offs in viewership. But before we jump into that, if you're new here—
I don't even really think it was them themselves that was botting. I'm pretty sure that's the case in most of the cases where they had huge drop-offs. I think people were botting these people on purpose because they liked them. There's a great example, he might even bring it up, with somebody got caught botting Tectone. They were talking about it on 4chan, apparently.
Consider subscribing. We are getting stupid close to 90K, and it's just a button press for you. If you end up hating me down the road, it's just yet another button press, and you'll never have to see me again. But also, if you just found
I think it's anywhere. I think it could be up to half of the users on Twitch. Even right now, after all of these bots were banned, I think are bots. I think half of Twitch might be bots, honestly.
This video useful, want to share it with others. If you give this video a like, it really helps boost it in the algorithm. But regardless of if you do either of those things, thank you for watching. Now, the numbers that I'm talking about in terms of like Twitch's viewership dropping, things like that, come from multiple news articles, but I want to use this one as an example. This one comes from Dixerto here. Twitch's viewership takes a massive hit after cracking down on view bots. And they go on to say here, Twitch viewership is trending downward across the board in the time since they began cracking down severely on view bots, with an up to 24% reduction week over week. And they include some screenshots, things like this, which is a picture from Twitch Tracker, which I actually—
Yeah, they probably want to get an actual ranking of how many people are on the platform. And if they just use fake rankings all the time, it becomes more and more fake over time, and eventually everybody on Twitch is bots, and there are no real people.
Have up here. Now, this is what they were using, the concurrent viewer for 7 days, and you'll see that the bright green line is showing what it is this week, and then the grayed out line is showing what it was last week. And so we can see here, I'm not going to probably include this one because it's quite an abnormality to be down 52%, but if we take a look at around here, around August 22nd to 23rd, you're going to see that we have been in the red for pretty much the entirety of it, outside of a few exceptions where it's like a couple percent over or pretty close to matching. But even recently—
Yeah, I even think that these numbers are fake. I think it's probably more like right down here somewhere. I think so much of Twitch is still fake even after this viewbotter thing.
Here, you're also going to see that the numbers are still showing negative, still trending downward. And to give you a better understanding of what those numbers essentially mean, this is an article that comes from around April of this year is when it was posted, that there are 35 million daily active users on Twitch. Now, just doing these simple—
Yeah, probably more like 20. I'd say maybe around 20.
simple math here of 20% of 35 million, that puts us at 7 million botted views. And I low estimated it. That was 20%. They were saying something like 24%, which could be in the realm of around 10 million viewers daily that are bots. But I think I want to do a better job of explaining why that's such a big deal. You know, why having, you know, from 7 to 10 million botted viewers on your website every day is not a good thing. Strangely enough, hear me out, I think the best way to do that is to show you guys this thread from XQC on Twitter. He starts this off with Twitch has cracked down on bots in the last 2 to 3 days, and view botters / victims of view botting have been exposed. Streamers that are part of groups / orgs are seemingly being botted much more heavily. I don't want to start witch hunts, but the data is interesting. Go see for yourself. But this
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And I also think there's a lot of people that want their favorite organizations to succeed. They're fans of the entire organization, not just one person. So it makes sense that they'd viewbot all of the people involved. But also, who knows, man? A lot of these orgs probably are viewbotting themselves. XQC, was it XQC that called out the FaZe House for having a viewbotting room?
first example here, he shows that on the 19th of August, they had 23,000 pretty consistently, 23, you know, roughly about 20, 25, even higher down here. And then on the 21st and 22nd of August, it drops by over half.
It's like there was some kind of weird unspoken secret where you have to view bot or you're not going to be successful. And that's fucking ridiculous.
To 7,000.
Explains a lot whenever I was streaming on Twitch why I wasn't getting any viewers, because I wasn't view botting.
And 10,000. But he goes on to hypothesize a bit. I've been thinking why orgs would bot heavily, as one of the other accusations that he was saying, or what he observed, is that more streamers that were under orgs, think like OTK, for example, he was saying people that were being represented by those organizations were more likely being botted based on his findings. Then the answer seemed almost obvious. Talent agencies receive a percentage from ad streams their talent does. By inflating their streamers, they can sell massive ad packages in bulk and take in much higher sums. To put,
yeah, not to mention the fans that probably are doing it, not to mention the sponsors that they're involved with probably doing it, especially if they're with some more shady sponsors. I could see them doing it. It's just, you know, it's bad. It's really bad.
Simply fraud, which does absolutely make more sense. Like,
yep,
of course,
it's fraud all around.
People are going to be more willing to pay you more money to advertise their products or be sponsored if they think that there are going to be more eyes on it. And as it stands, you know, if a fifth of your audience, or, you know, like in the example that he showed you, if half of your audience is just view bots that aren't actually going to purchase the product, then the advertisement is only going to be half as effective. But if these orgs inflate the numbers, they can get a bigger cut, or they can negotiate with those advertisers and get a lot more cash out of these sponsorships than they should be. He goes on to say this doesn't seem like a problem for most people, but it's the silent killer. It kills the industry as a whole. It lowers discoverability for small streamers significantly and cuts down their income if they ever make it at all. I did some digging and shared findings with others and found egregious instances of streamers going from approximately 100 viewers daily to 5,000 overnight. I was speechless when I noticed they had been doing it for years. The worst part, a lot of recent streamers ended being sponsored. Awful. Here's an absolutely abysmal example of this. The fact that this can go on for years without the platform taking action is just sad, really. If Twitch doesn't care, then why should anyone really? And it shows this individual not even getting close to 1,000 viewers.
I mean, I feel that, like, eventually you get tired of it and you want to do something about it, and then boom, there you go. All of a sudden, success. Crazy how that works, and that's why it's a problem, because you immediately get success. If you're a small person who doesn't view bot, you get nowhere.
At random, just jumping up to like nearly 5,000 viewers like they were describing. Now he essentially closes it off here, but then one of these top comments here I did also want to point out, why the hell would Twitch alert streamers that this is happening ahead of time? Some of the most botted people simply haven't gone live in the last few days because they know it'll expose them. If it's proven these people are botting themselves, it is likely they are sending fake stats to
And by the way, Tectone called it. Tectone called it. He said that whenever... like, I think he even said a month ago, he's like, we got about a month before they crack down on these view bots. And you're going to start seeing a lot of people just not going to be online. It might have been like a week ago. I don't know. But I do remember Tectone saying it before all of this came out.
which constitutes fraud and should be investigated. I'm going to get into XQC's response and kind of go over that, but the first thing I wanted to point out is that this is spot on, and it is really weird that Twitch went ahead and put out an announcement about this. Here's this announcement update thing here. This came out at the end of July. Now keep in mind that was, what is that? 2-3 weeks before they actually seem to implement this view botting thing. And they go over and say, hey, we're going to be doing this. So if your channel is view botted or if some of your viewers are artificial or inflated, you will see an impact to your channel's view count. Now, yes, they are not describing the ways in which they have figured out how to better detect these view bots, but this is like truly shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, the same thing happens with one game that I personally
they're
really
not explaining it, but all the bigger streamers, all the biggest streamers, they're going to be told directly what's going on. So, yeah, they were probably even told before the announcement was coming out.
Playing Dota, but you can look to League of Legends, Counter-Strike, any of these other games, which arguably, you know, still deal with their hackers, scripters, things like that. But you notice that they don't ever do like, hey, you know, big heads up, we're about to ban a bunch of people, we're about to ban a bunch of cheaters, smurfs, things like that. And the reason for that is because they want to give as little prep time as possible to either the cheaters, the people they're targeting with these bans, or the people that are creating the cheats. Because the whole cat and mouse of this is essentially, you know, the people that do this, let's say, for example, the view botting companies that create these view bots, they find a way that they're able to create these view bots and they go undetected. Twitch.
Yeah, and they're going to keep doing it. They're going to do it again. It's going to get bad again because it's just a cat and mouse game. It's the same thing that happens with the cheaters in like online games.
Then finds a way to detect them, and now those people who create the view bots, they have to figure out how Twitch is detecting them and see if they can work around it and then do it again. That's the cycle. It's the same thing with competitive video games. And so you never see them give the announcement ahead of time because they want the jump. They want to be able to get on top of what's going on and hopefully create as large a gap in time as they possibly can between right now when they've successfully, you know, prevented or banned a lot of cheaters, banned a lot of view botters, and hope that the next fix or the next workaround is going to take them that much longer. In essence, I don't really see a good reason for why Twitch would have given this heads up, especially with so much time, unless they're hoping that the people who create these view bots or their streamers find a workaround. Because as bad
they will. They're going to find other view bots probably, or people who are view botting them without their knowledge, you know, they're going to find another way.
Look as it is for streamers to suddenly lose, you know, 20% to half of their viewership in a single day. It looks that much worse on Twitch, the people who are, you know, supplying the platform for advertisers to show up on. I don't think sponsors would look too finely on Twitch if they realize that a fifth of the
and it's going to get worse too. So like, yeah, it's only going to get worse. I think Twitch is snowballing out of control.
Audience that they have been trying to sell to, we're never even going to give them a chance of buying their product because they weren't real. XQC responds to that individual bringing that up, saying the fact that NMP knew ahead of time when the crackdown was going to happen should sound all the alarms. Why would anyone on the inside community?
Yeah, NMP, all like Hassan knew most likely out of everybody. He knew it before anybody else did. Like all these people that are like at the top of Twitch, they're all being held up there by Twitch, and they all get the inside information.
Communicate this is beyond me. It defeats the very purpose. Clearly, we're still missing a few pieces of this puzzle. Now, XQC isn't directly saying here that NMP, we're using a lot of acronyms today, is colluding with Twitch in any way, but he is bringing up that NMP knew ahead of time about the crackdown. Now, I went ahead and compiled a couple of top streamers here on Twitch Tracker, and let's go over I
think there is a little bit of collusion with the top streamers.
The viewership changes over the last couple of days here. Now, the first one that I have up for you guys here is Lacey, and he was the subject of quite a few comments from people. He's actually currently doing a Minecraft hardcore marathon, hence you're seeing a much larger average viewers. He's actually doing the Twitch Together thing with a guy named Marlon or Marlone, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but oh my goodness, we can see here from, you know, leading into what is going to be the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of August here, we can see you know, anywhere from 20,000 viewers to 30,000, you know, some crazy, crazy big numbers, 27K there. And then we see 21st of August, 5,000, 22nd here, 11,000,
that?
11,000
Crazy drop.
again. Now, admittedly, I don't think that we should really be taking these two very seriously. Number one, because this one...
But also, this might be because of algorithm changes. Like, the algorithm might have taken a hit and it fucked with a lot of views. That could also be a factor, on top of view bots just being gone.
Was a 0.2 hour long stream with 5,000 viewers. This one 0.8 hours,
Yeah,
11,000. But then this one was led directly.
Yeah, it was 0.2 hours. It looks like it was a giveaway. It looks like these are giveaways.
Directly into this one right here for 6.5 hours and was still at 11,000, which is quite a marked drop off even for what is to be one of their lowest numbers here, 16,000 on August 19th. And the only recognizably close number to that again is back on August 7th with just 0.3 hours. And that was a 3.6 thousand average viewed stream. But we can see here August 24th, it looks like that viewership is starting to climb back up, but still one of its lowest here at 12,000, almost 13. Now here is
if he figured out a new way to get bots.
Asmongold's channel is...
This is really going to be the definitive thing right here. If Asmongold's viewership went up, I don't think that he's actually view botting.
Zach Rar, this one was also pointed out to by a couple of news articles, things like that. And we can see here, so on the 20th of August, 42,000. And then 21st, 22nd, 23rd, we can see 29,000, almost 30, down to 29,000. And then jumping back up on the 23rd, 36,000, back up to 40,000 on the 25th. Yeah, and keep in mind, leading into this, he was rarely dipping below 40,000. We got a 38, 39,000 here. So to go drop down to 29 is...
Are the view bots back, or is this actually natural viewership coming in?
A large dip, and it doesn't look like there was too much of a change here. Stayed about the same amount of time as well for streaming. And here we've got XQC going from the 19th of August 26,000 to the 20th of August 20,000. The 22nd
yeah, it might be because a bunch of people are piling on the guys who called all of this and called a whole bunch of people out. That might be why their views are going up, because they ended up being right.
19,000, the 23rd being 22,019. So we can see a bit of a dip, although his numbers have varied. I mean, even from July 31st, going from 18, 29, 26, 21, or 24, up to 41,000. Like, his have fluctuated quite a bit. Now, these numbers are lower here. And then most recently here, the 26th of August, jumped back up to 35,000. Very interesting.
It really depends on what events are going on that day, too. Like what's happening in the news and all that.
Interesting. Now, one of the other very notable ones here is Mizkif. We saw best example of this, I think, by what a lot of people are saying. We're going from even starting back here on like the 15th of August here, 16,000, 14,000, 14, 17, 19, 18, down to the most recently on the 22nd and 25th. 22nd.
Yeah, it seems to me like the view bots are back, and then also this day, on the 22nd, where everybody took a hit, apparently, I think the algorithm took a hit also, and that made it look even worse. But, like, this seems to me like it took out all the view bots, and now a bunch of them are back. And it may be even worse than before.
9,000, and the 25th, 15,000. So quite a huge drop off. 18 down to 9, that's dropping by half. Now, another individual that's been called out...
While at the same time, he was losing followers. Like, his followers were negative.
For this is Tectone.
Yeah,
if we go ahead and take a look at his, going in from 16th, 17th here, 4.4K, 4.6K, 3.9 on August 19th, 3.9 on the 20th, and then down to on the 21st, 23rd, here we can see 3.4 down to 2.7. And then on August 24th, he jumps up to 6,
yeah,
up
he
to
got
9,
boosted.
And then most recently, 7,600. Doesn't seem like there were any crazy title changes outside of recently.
And Tectone did point out that people were still botting him, and it was being successfully done. So, like, I think Tectone might be right. The bots are about to be out for a vengeance, man.
The uptick that I've been seeing, especially on a lot of these drama channels, is Destiny. A lot of drama surrounding Destiny has been spiking. So naturally, I think Twitch streamers, especially ones
that Destiny drama is fucking nuts.
that are not afraid to cover drama like that have definitely seen a larger uptick in viewership as well. And then this guy right here has been a bit contentious. A lot of people have been going after this guy because of these numbers specifically. You can see a pretty consistent, stays at a minimum here in the beginning of the month at 18,000 viewers, but a steady, you know, 35,000, 28, 27,000, 24, 19. And then we see this huge plummet on August 21st from 23,000 down to 7,000 and then to 9,000 and then most recently.
And then back up to where he was. I think the view botters are back. I think they took a hit and then they found a way around it and they're back.
Here, I'm pissed drama marathon walk, and then that was for 26,000. So right back up, it seems like.
But it also could have been because he mentioned drama and marathon. But I don't know.
Down here on the 21st, this one had YRG Loyals only stream. Keep it low key. Now, I believe this stream was super laggy, and that's why it only lasted 1 hour. But then the next one, which kind of lines up with his other viewer times for the most part, it's actually about half the time as some of the regulars here, about 7 to 8 hours, 4.2 hours, and still kept that pretty low number. Based off of the research that I did after everything.
The 22nd, everybody took a hit.
Seen, is it conclusive, or could we assume with a general certainty that yes, view botting had definitely impacted the viewership to a large degree on Twitch? Yes, they saw a decline in,
and I think they're back. I think they're back with a vengeance.
Multiple instances of upwards of 20% of the viewership on average for each day dropping. That is a very big number. That is, like I said earlier, between 7 to 10 million people that just don't exist anymore. And yes, don't get me wrong, this is a multivariable equation. There could be numerous other reasons for why. I mean, we're getting into the back to school part of the year here. Now, in previous years, August has been an uptick in viewership for Twitch, but there have been a few years here and there, like one or two.
That's probably why they decided to do this in August, because they knew it was going to be their biggest uptick. So they were like, well, we'll lose the least here, I guess.
Has gone down, but most of them go up, but still could go that way. I'm not a fucking analyst, but when it comes down to these huge streamers using view bots, can we say that for certainty that all these streamers were using view bots?
Definitely not all of them were view botting themselves. Some of them were getting view botted, but I don't know. And it also, a lot of it could be the algorithm taking a hit, and they changed the algorithm the way it works, so people didn't get recommended the same.
Really, not off of this information at least. This is just a couple of days of information and research. Now, some of these examples are quite drastic, yes, but we don't know how much that compares to last month's streams. Or, you know, keep in mind, for instance, for Lacey, now he may be doing this in response, you know, to what's going on, but he's got this huge Minecraft stream event thing going on with another big streamer named Marlon. So the data is kind of now skewed because that is a huge event that is going to pull in a lot of numbers because Lacey is well known. Marlon, I'm sorry again, he is also very well known. And so them together doing this crazy event stream, it's going to pull in a lot of attention. Now, it's also true that a lot of streamers took a vacation during this period. And also, like, they were given so much leeway time that they were
because their numbers aren't going to show that there was a whole bunch of view bots and they're not going to be pulled into the drama and nobody will be talking about them.
Many different ways that this could have been like botched.
Which is very fishy, by the way.
Lot of ways, or streamers can hide behind the plausible deniability of, I wasn't here for the last couple of weeks. When I came back, of course, viewership is going to go down. People have left. People are not interested anymore. And let's say, hypothetically, every single one of these top streamers did have view botting going on during their streams. Even if we knew that for a fact, we wouldn't know for a fact where they're coming from. Now, XQC had an interesting theory, a prediction, which we cannot prove because, again, it's a theory, but that being that streamers that were under orgs were seeing more of an impact to this view botting crackdown. Now, for the sake of kind of going down through that theory, there's a good chance that these streamers that may be working with these orgs are probably not told that, hey, we're view botting your streams, because why would they?
Or they are in the terms and conditions and they don't read the terms and conditions.
No real benefit for the org, you know, telling about this thing that they're doing, which is not allowed on the site, which is, if they're using this to fluff up numbers to get bigger numbers from those advertisers when they're selling, you know, the sponsorship, that would
and they might have a way that they can technically view bot and it be not against Twitch's terms of service. You never know with this, because all these companies, they collude behind the scenes.
constitute fraud. So one less person in the loop that is, literally just camera in their face for their entire job, it's probably a good idea for them not to share that with the streamers so that there's no chance of that information being leaked. So the streamers may not know about the view botting, or it might be some weird person that's just supporting them and giving them view bots because they want them to have higher viewers so that
it only takes one person with some money to throw away to give you thousands of view bots. Like, seriously.
Show up on the front page more. It could also be malicious actors who are giving them a shit ton of view bots to see if they can get the channel suspended or banned. I've literally watched that happen a couple of times. It's happened to Moist Critical. The man was just about like at 100K viewers at one point, and it randomly spiked, and he's like, it's not me doing this. This is clearly like someone view botting my stream. And with that being said, like, we can see there's a huge variety of reasons why view botting could exist on a streamer's channel. In tandem with that, unless we could figure out exactly where they're coming from and what the intention is, it's just not going to be a good idea to like punish the streamers in regard to it, let alone levy accusations towards any of these people that they were doing it maliciously and knew about it. But all in all, regardless of if they were doing it intentionally, didn't know about it at all, or just the fact that we have seen this viewership.
I think a lot of them, like, they see it and they know about it and they're not going to do anything about it because it's views, man. They're just going to pretend it's not happening.
Drop, this huge percentage drop on Twitch across the board. By and large, that is a great thing, regardless of who is doing it maliciously, etc. Having those off the platform is only healthy for it. It's only going to provide sponsors and advertisers confidence that they can, still sell their products and do what they want to do, which is make money off their products with the streamers that they're working with. And ruining that and ruining the confidence in that relationship would only be disastrous for this industry. So I'm glad that it seemed like Twitch was trying to, do something about this. But unfortunately, it looks like either they're walking back those changes, or the view botting companies or the people that are doing this view botting stuff have already figured out workarounds.
I think it's the latter. I think they already figured it out because Twitch is fucking retarded.
Update comes from
they got a whole bunch of old people there that really barely know what they're doing or don't know what they're doing at all.
Zach Busey or Busey. I'm assuming hopefully Busey. It's a bit too early to be sure, but it looks like Twitch undid this change today. Almost every example I looked at on Saturday that showed streamers having their lowest performing streams of the year between Thursday and Saturday are back at their 30-day average today. That or every ViewBot service has found a solution already. And you can see here the chart today is almost directly in line with last week's compared to the previous 4 days that were far below their last week's viewership. Interesting times to say the least. And so you can see that example below.
Yep, I think it's going to get worse. I think Twitch is about to see the greatest numbers that they've ever seen, and they're all going to be fake.
Below quite drastically here with that outlier as well. And then boom, it just pretty much lines up except for the very tip right here. So just the tip. Now again, and like you said, just a bit too early to tell. We're not absolutely sure. It's just going off of a day of data. But I think it's also very clear
and it's really seeming like it's snapping right back.
That it's in Twitch's complete interest to make sure that they get their numbers back to where they were. They don't want to show like a 20% decline in viewership. That would be horrific for the company as well as all the streamers on it, especially from the perspective of what that is going to signal to advertisers. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. If there's anything I missed or any more interesting information you found out about this yourself you'd like to share,
man.
Leave it.
Yeah, definitely check out Quinn Theo, link down there in the description. He needs all the subscribers that he can get. This guy's awesome. Twitch is fucked. I don't see them coming back from this. I think it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until it just completely collapses. And it'll probably happen all at once. And we're not going to see it coming, and it's just going to happen in a week. And we're just all going to be like, oh, what is happening? Oh, it's crazy. Twitch is done. Out of nowhere. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications.